Hello, my lovelies. So, uh, last night I think was the first night in all of this that I hit the deck a bit. So my family's been in lockdown for 9 days already. My husband got back from the States last week, so we went into self-imposed 14 days quarantine before all the lockdown stuff started. So today's my ninth day of being at home and not going out, and with my husband, with my daughter. So for 9 days, it's been absolutely fine, and we really have been okay, and we found a rhythm, and we're all kind of moving through our days, one day at a time. But last night, it kind of built up, and my daughter was not in an okay state, and she had quite a meltdown, and came at me with everything she had, and it is what happens when you're a parent, is that when your child is not okay, you become the safe place for them. You become the place that they can come at, and feel held, and know that they can say what they've got to say, and that you're still going to be there, and you're not going to leave and run away. So for any parents, it's hard being present when your child's going through stuff. So last night was a big one, and her state, obviously triggered me, and feeling so futile at not being able to do anything and not being able to change the situation for her, and just recognizing her frustration and her upset around everything that's going on. But it also then triggered some stuff in me, about some grief that, I'm still trying to process in my life, relating to some stuff that happened. And as much as I have been doing work on it, I just think that every day is so busy in our lives, that we don't really take the time we need to process the stuff that's gone on in our lives. So when you're busy with school runs and family dinners and work and socializing and going out, it becomes very easy to ignore the stuff that you're not dealing with. So the suppressed stuff that you haven't really been facing is probably going to start emerging over these next 3 weeks. And I just wanted to talk to you about that today, because you're not going to be busy, and you're not going to have all that external stuff to distract you from your feelings and from your emotions, and you're going to have to come face to face with some stuff. So, last night when this hit me, I had a good cry. I love snotty cries. They always make me feel better. And I just sat in the pain, and I sat in my emotions and my grief and my feelings, and I just let them be there, and I know from myself that when you properly face an emotion, or you sit in it, it really does move quite quickly through you. It's when you resist the emotion and you deny it that it becomes a problem. So as I was sitting there in this state, I thought, most of us are actually probably in this state at the moment. As much as my grief and loss has to do with the death of a person, grief and loss at the moment is existing with all of you around the whole world, to the loss of what is going on in your lives right now. So we are facing a loss of just a normal everyday life that is no longer available to us at the moment. So all those things that we took for granted, we've lost that, and that is a big loss for us. Huge amounts of people are facing the loss of work and the loss of income, so there's a lot of grief associated with that. A lot of people are facing a loss of a certain future. As much as we never really know what the future is going to bring, we can always put plans of action into place that can assure a part of it for ourselves, and we've just lost that. So a lot of people have lost a certainty around what's coming. We're feeling a loss of safety and security, and we're feeling a loss of our freedom. We've been locked down for 21 days. So guys, there's a lot of loss going on, and I want you to recognize that and acknowledge it, and make the space for the associated emotion around it to exist. So it's really important to sit with any emotion as it's going to arise over these next 3 days. And I want you to stop being scared by what you would call negative emotion. And in fact, I'd love you to stop labeling emotion as negative. Emotion is just emotion. Don't put labels onto it, because when you put a label of it being negative, now it's wrong, and now you can't sit with it. So instead of being afraid of your emotion, just observe it. Observe what's going on. I am feeling sad. I am feeling scared. I am feeling calm. I am feeling creative. I am feeling panicked. Start labeling and putting a name to the emotion that you are feeling, because When you acknowledge emotion and when you feel emotion, you are now allowing it to move through your body. And that is the way we process emotion, guys. You can't process stuff by just disconnecting and pretending it's not there. So acknowledge the emotion, feel it in your body, breathe deeply into it, and just let it start moving through you. And whether it takes a minute, whether it takes 5 minutes, whether it takes an hour, no emotion is permanent. And it's really important to know that everything is temporary. So just because you are feeling the sadness or the fear or the panic right now, it doesn't mean that's how you're going to be feeling an hour from now. So let the emotion move through you and out of you. And this is also where exercise is really important. Exercise, and it doesn't have to be exercise, but any physical movement really helps you to move and process emotion out of your body. So when you are feeling emotionally overwhelmed, you've got to get a handle on your mental thought process that's behind the emotion. So you can either be feel all futile and feel defeated by what's going on and just focus on negatives. But I'd like you to try and shift your thought process into something that's a bit more workable. So, yes, this is happening and the world is continuing, and millions of people will not get this, and millions of people will be okay. And many who have this will recover. And, it's not about overriding the negative statements with positive in order to ignore the negative, but it's also just allowing the positive to exist as well as the negative. We have to find balance in our thinking. So, the planet and the environment is going through a massive period of healing at the moment. And what I'm loving about this entire experience is that as a human race, we are having a very tangible experience of what a powerful difference we can make when we all choose to stand together. And when this is all over, I hope that we never lose that and we never forget what we could do when we all stand together to make a significant difference on this planet. So I think we are all finding our humanity hugely through this, and it is one of the huge gifts that's coming out of this experience. So all I can say for these next 3 weeks is please, A, let your emotions be real. B, do not dismiss the emotions of anybody that you are living with through this 3-week time frame. Your kids are going to be in fear, you're going to be in fear. When that stuff comes up, just acknowledge it and let it be there. Don't let anyone in the home feel that their negative or their fear is not welcome. And definitely don't try to override it with a positive statement. People's reality have to be acknowledged here, and trying to always soothe it down with yes but statements is not workable. Yes, no, I know that you're scared, but we're safe and we're in our home. It's not a workable thing to do. You're just dismissing the realness of what that person is feeling. So just sit with them in their fear and sit with them in their anxiety and just hold their hand. And very often you don't even need to talk. You just need to be present with somebody as they're processing all of the stuff that's going on for them. So it also gives people better coping mechanisms around perceived negative emotion if they're allowed to feel them. If you're constantly teaching people that their negative emotions are not welcome in your space, then they're never going to bring the honesty and truth to you. So and then people in the home think that they've got to pretend that they're feeling okay and they've got to pretend that everything is fine throughout this time. So please make a space in your home where everybody's emotions are welcome, and also everybody's going to be feeling different stuff on different days. On some days, one of you will be feeling happy and okay, one of you will be feeling really angry, another way maybe feeling sad. Please just allow the space for everybody in your home to be where they're at with their emotions, and stop trying to normalize or to regulate what everybody is going through. If you do feel that you're really struggling with loss and grief, there are an amazing amount of authors out there who are specialists in this field. And I think the one that we mostly know of is David Kessler. David Kessler and Elisabeth Kübler-Ross. That's a very well-known name in the field of grief and loss. So I'll post David's website up and you can see his books. Look up Elisabeth Kübler-Ross. Louise Hay has amazing books around grief and loss. So just do a search for some authors who can help you find tools and techniques and practices to deal with any fear, loss, and grief that you may be experiencing at the moment, or that might come up for you over the next 3 weeks. So this is me taking a deep breath, and I hope you're all still doing your deep breathing, and we will get through this together, guys. We really will. So I love all of you. Very exciting tomorrow. I'm doing a Instagram chat with my friend Deborah Darling. She's totally fabulous. So I'll post details about that. And then I will be back on Facebook Live tomorrow at 5 p.m. South Africa Standard Time. So now it begins today, and just hold each other tightly through this. I'll speak to you tomorrow.